couple rules before we start. If you are a candidate and are uncontested, it would be appreciated that you introduce yourself, your position, and yield your time, but you may speak for 3 minutes. When called to the podium, each candidate will get 3 minutes to introduce themselves, speak about their platform. If the candidate goes over their time, they will get a $50 fine. So remember that. The moderator will choose all questions. The public may submit questions at the registration table for the moderator to choose from. The moderator will ask each candidate one at a time, one question, and the candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question. When all the candidates have answered the question, the candidate will have the opportunity for a 1 minute rebuttal if desired. Time permitting, each contested candidate may have 2 minutes for closing remarks. So first, state candidates, we would like to introduce, and they can come up and introduce themselves and have a few minutes to talk about their platform. State Senator from District 26, Julie Lynn.
Okay, it wasn't 30 seconds warning, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So this is on, right? My name is Julie Lynn, and I'm running for state senate because I just feel that voters need an opportunity to vote for a Republican if they choose. And I have lived in Blaine County for 30 years, and I'm a fourth generation Idahoan. My 3 sets of great-grandparents homesteaded near McCall and Cambridge. And I spent years helping others and dedicating my life to volunteering to put on events in Ketchum, like the trailing of the sheep and the wagon days. And I've mentored Girl Scouts for the last 13 years, and that's my pleasure. I have brought one of my Girl Scouts with me, Minori from Japan, and I came to a moment in time when I felt like I just had to step up. And part of the reason is because I feel that if I'm lucky enough to get to serve, I would like to do something about finding affordable health care and health insurance for Idahoans. I just think that it's a disgrace that we don't have that opportunity, especially for the self-insured. And that's the extent of my, I would like to do that, and if I have the opportunity, I will do that. I forgot to mention that I am also a veteran. I served in the Army for 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, State Representative from District 26B, Mike McFadden.
Hi, as she said, my name is Mike McFadden. I live in Fairfield. I want to thank the people here of Lincoln having us here to speak tonight. I'll give you a little background because almost nobody knows where I'm from, and I'm kind of new to all this. I'm told I'm not supposed to say that I'm new to this, but my background is I retired with 33 years in the heavy marine construction. My grandfather did it, my father did it. I studied electronics. I went into marine construction. I worked for the Department of Defense. I did projects ranging from magnetic silencing systems for Trident nuclear submarines to advanced projects for the Pentagon. I had a wonderful career, retired here in Idaho to raise my daughter, who's now 15 and going to Camas High. I taught today at Camas High School. I taught music class of all things, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it was a hoot. I had a lot of fun. What I'm going to bring to this district, I think, is my background in dealing with government projects. I've done projects from a few $1,000 up into hundreds of millions and billions. And I think I have a lot of experience working on these projects, and being that I've got a Scottish heritage, I'm good at saving money. I'm told it's being frugal and not being cheap. But I will do everything I can for us to get the value of the dollar for our tax dollars that are being paid. Everyone complains about us cutting taxes. I hear that Republicans, all you're gonna do is cut taxes. But I think if I get in there, I can give us real value for the dollar. I know what a day's work is worth. I know what a man can produce and a woman can produce in a day. So I think I can help us to save money and get the value out of our tax money. I hope you guys vote for me coming up, and thank you very much for your time.
All right, that is all, oh, excuse me. State Representative 26A, Mr. Steve Miller.
Hello. I am Steve Miller. I can swear to that. That's what my mom told me, and she told me pretty truthful. I'm from Fairfield, grew up on a dryland farm up there, and got married and stayed in the country up there. I live on a family farm and ranch, and I've been there for many, many years, since about 69. I think that's experience in agriculture, and business gives you a lot of background to get involved with politics. I was a county commissioner for 6 years in Fairfield, and these county commissioners can tell you, you learn a lot doing that job too. This is my third term in the House. I'm running for my fourth term. The experience, particularly in JFAC, Joint Finance and Appropriations, has been really great. I'm also on the Agriculture Committee and on the Resources Committee. But being on JFAC was a big part of this year when ITD wanted to move the office out of town, that I had the opportunity of being there and being able to influence that process and force them to come forth with plans for next year, and then we'll see what we face again on that front. You need to realize also it's not just me down there in Boise doing that, but it's also your county commissioners and everyone else at home that takes part in that process and writes letters and gets involved with the legislators. So you have a good set of advocates there, and Rebecca especially just spent a lot of time working on that. I think often everybody asks you, well, why do you do it? And actually what happens is it changes over time. I started out, I kind of wanted to help people. I knew that I had some ability to do some things. But over time, I think the biggest thing that has happened is I hate injustice. And many laws can have unintended consequences, and we suffer too many regulations in all we do. And with the culture we have now, they're always trying to nibble on our rights, nibble on our income. And so when we had the tax cut bill this year, that was a really good bill. When we had the school safety bill that allowed law enforcement to go out and arrest people who make threats against schools. Before, they could only do that if they were on school property. Now they can do it anyhow. So those are good things. The gun rights bill was a good thing, Second Amendment. The trespassing bill was really good. I appreciate the invitation and the time to be here. My name is Steve Miller, and I appreciate your vote this fall. Thank you.
All right, so next we're going to have the Lincoln County Commissioners, District 1. We have 3 of them that are running. We're going to give them each 3 minutes to introduce themselves, talk about their platform. When all 3 are done, we're going to ask them a few questions and start with that. So first, we are going to start with Dawn Hudson. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, because he was on the other page. Excuse me. Before that, sorry, District Judge 5. District Judge 5.
Well, thank you. As she said, my name is Theodore Booth, and I'm running for District Judge in the Idaho's 5th Judicial District, which encompasses 8 counties. even though the seat I'm running for would require the person that gets elected to live in Twin Falls County. The district covers Blaine, Camas, Kaja. I'll probably leave one out now. It's Gooding, Jerome, Lincoln, Minidoka, Twin Falls. I apologize if I left one out. I'm here tonight with my wife Aubrey and 2 boys, Quinlan and Aiden. I do want to thank you for giving me a minute to speak to you. Just a little bit about myself. I graduated law school at University of Utah in 1999. My first job right out of law school was as a law clerk for Judge Barry Wood, who was the he's retired now, district court judge, previously magistrate judge in Lincoln County prior to Melanson, or is there somebody in between? I can't remember, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm certainly appreciative of Barry Wood's mentorship. For the last 14 years, I've been and still am a hearing officer at the Snake River Basin Adjudication Water Court, as well as the Coeur d'Alene Spokane River Basin, and hearing and deciding water rights cases. I don't know how much time I have left, but people ask me, well, what, like Ms. Representative or Senator Miller said, Representative Miller, why do you do this? Why are you running? And I've answered that a number of times, and I think I've answered it a little bit differently every time. And the reason is because that's a complicated question, and probably some of my motivations I don't even know. But let me answer that this way this time, which is I just really enjoy that deliberative process of listening carefully to the arguments, assuming that the people that you're talking to or that are trying to convince you know something that you don't know, and you have to assume that every time. Listening to them carefully, and then trying to sort out what is the truth, what is the law, leaving my own opinions out of it, meaning you don't jump to a conclusion about what the answer is and work backwards to try to get there. You just follow the law, apply the facts to the law, and hold your feet to the floor and come up with the right answer. So I think that's all I have at this point, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
All right, now we will start with Lincoln County Commissioner, District 1. We have 3 people running, and we will start with Don Hudson.
Before you start the clock, I'd like to remind everybody, this is also a fundraiser. There's a donation basket on the table in the back and over where the pie is. So please give freely and eat more pie. You don't want to take it home. I'm trying to lose weight. Okay, now you can start the clock. I'm Don Hudson. I'm a semi-retired mechanical engineer. My wife of 30 years is here, Judy. Stand up, say hi. The light of my life, and the lady who makes me complete. We've had 6 children, and we have 8 grandchildren. We don't have any great-grandchildren yet, but I expect they're coming. I'm pleased to have been able to serve Lincoln County over the past 7 years doing several things. I spent 6 months in the courthouse photographing records that were rotting in the basement. I've served for 7 years in the Boy Scouts. In the last 2 years, I've coached 3 Eagle Scouts. I've had a lot of other church callings that allowed me to serve in a number of different ways. I spent 2 years on the Planning and Zoning Board. I spent 5 years in Search and Rescue, 2 of those as commander. I've been 4 years on the Republican Party Central Committee, and as of July of this year, I'm the chairman of the Republican Party Central Committee in Lincoln County. And no, that is not a conflict to be the chairman of the Central Committee and to be a candidate. That's 2 separate things. And we did go to Boise to legal to find out that that was indeed the answer. I was also a candidate for the House of Representatives several years ago, and had the privilege of working beside Steve Miller as we worked hard to be good candidates. I won 3 counties, but I lost Blaine County, and that was enough to keep us out. And I'm sorry about that. I've proven to be an effective leader in a lot of different and sometimes very difficult situations. I've been there, and I've done it. I have the experience. I've also proven that I can listen to people and then act on what they tell me. I know what their concerns are because you talk to me, and I understand what to say when you talk. For example, there was an issue about the Board of Commissioners planning to build a courthouse. Nobody knew. I asked, and they said, well, we don't think the public needs to know. I did a survey and found out that the public does indeed want to know. Well, in the last newspaper, we finally see that they're looking for volunteers for a committee to help them build the courthouse. Now, with little time left, I'll tell you, I will save the old courthouse. I don't know how we'll do that yet, because it's going to take more than 3 people. It's going to take everybody in Lincoln County to do that. My job is going to be to provide effective leadership so that we can work together. I will facilitate ways that we can talk to each other so that the best ideas can come forward. I have the education and the experience to be able to manage whatever we have to face. I have the courage to make the good decisions, and please vote for me on May 15th. Thank you very much.
All right, next up, Mary Zeth. Oh. Wrong one, sorry. Brett, please come up. Right now.
I'm Rick Ellis, running for Commissioner District 1. A little bit about me, we moved here in 1978. My wife is from Horseshoe Bend, Idaho. She was born and raised there. Dr. Neer delivered 2 of our kids. Of course, she's passed now, but best doctor around. We moved here because I was the project superintendent for the BLM project out here, the fire center. I don't have any experience in politics at all. This is the first time I've ever tried this. I figured new blood wouldn't hurt anybody, so here I am. The courthouse issue is that's a good issue to talk about, because I plan on, if I get elected, I plan on saving the courthouse. Whether we have to build out or move into outbuildings to meet ADA and room, they need more room. Save the courthouse and possibly build new that meets all the criteria. The sheriff's department is in sad shape because there's not enough money. They lose all their candidates, all their deputies, because the county doesn't pay enough money. I plan on trying to rectify that in the next year's budget, if possible. But I think after spending $75,000 to $80,000 per deputy, and they end their 2-year deal here, they just go to some other sheriff's department, and they don't have to pay for training. We've already paid. So we need to keep our deputies here. Sheriff Rodriguez and the Chief Deputy Peterson, I believe, are doing a fine job. I've talked to both of them at length. They need help. They're shorthanded, and they're shorthanded because the deputies are leaving for more money. So something has to be done about it. That's about all I got. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to ask these 2 some questions. Yes? Any questions? Want me to- All right, well, we're going to do introductions first. So for Lincoln County Commissioner, District 3, we have Larry Kerner. You want to come next?
It's sort of sad when you look back and you make a flyer and your whole life is on 8 inches of paper. I've been here a lifelong resident. My wife Christine, back here, she's been my main supporter. She is she's the daughter of Marvin Lorraine Jones from Ridgefield, who's now a retired dairyman. So I stayed in the county with that. And I'm just looking for a new direction. My grandchildren are the 4th generation to attend Shoshone school districts. My family history, my father came out of here in 1936 with 13 brothers and sisters. So if you heard the Kerner name in the past, that's probably, and if you heard two prevalent, Herschel and Billy, they are my older brothers. So we can clear the air on that right now and start asking questions. I'm 66 years old, for those who want to keep track, if things happen like this, 10 years from now, if I'm still elected, God, he's old, let's get him out. But my main part is, I don't know, everybody stands up here and tells you what you did and didn't do. Well, you can see this right here. I'm just trying to start a new direction. I figured I was 24 years growing up, 24 years milking cows, and 19 years working for an asphalt company in Belleville, Idaho. They sold out to another company. Mom and I sat down and prayed a lot. She says, you know something, just go do something you're going to enjoy. I've heard people say what they will do and what they won't do, and there isn't any proposals that I've heard so far. I've got 2 I'd like to propose tonight, if elected. But you have to keep in mind, I have 2 commissioners that also have votes, and you're the voters. The first proposal, if the bond fails for the new courthouse, to reduce overcrowding and ADA accessibility, I propose we check out buildings that are available in downtown Shoshone, utilizing the historical integrity. And the second one, I'm not running for this position for financial reasons, but I'd like to serve you, the voters, to the best of my ability. Therefore, my second proposal is that the commissioner's salary be cut back 22% to $24,000 annually. Between the 3 commissioners, I would put out $21,000 in the budget to put towards the police force or wherever else needed for salaries. That is what, I've been here all my life. There's no qualms, but I'd like to see this county run and openness and fairness, and let the voters have a word, and let the commissioners hear. Thank you.
Mr. Hudson? Roy? Roy, would you like to come up? That's all right.
My name is Roy Hubert, and I am asking for your vote again this year to be county commissioner. I pledge my continued hard work for the good of Lincoln County. I would like to finish the work with the BLM and the United States Congress in purchasing the land for our transfer station that is located on BLM ground because it was mistakenly built there. By this, we will save at least $1.5 million in not having to relocate. Just today, I had a meeting with the BLM, and they verified that they would forgive our trespass fees on $35,000, plus other fees and surveying of in excess of $10,000. And I asked him if I could verify that the sale of the land would go through so that we could have the land for our transfer station. They said, yes, it will go through. So, $45,000 to $50,000 savings for Lincoln County in one day. Not a bad job for an old county commissioner. This last year, we have completed a $300,000 plus remodel and improvement job to the care center. All of this was accomplished at the cost of only about $50,000 to $60,000 of Lincoln County taxpayer money. We at Southern Idaho Solid Waste are ready to hook up to Idaho Power and generate enough electricity to light 2,500 homes. And in a few years, we'll be able to increase this by over 30%. I hope that you will allow me to use my expertise again over the years to accomplish this for the district. Up until now, the gas emitted from the trash has been burned into the atmosphere. We will shortly have all of the information on a possible new courthouse for Lincoln County so that we can have city, county, and other meetings concerning the cost, location, etc. I have been involved in several new commercial buildings in Lincoln County. I'm looking forward to this much-needed project. Here again, I have proven my ability to get the job done. The list of accomplishments goes on and on. I would finally like to thank Rick Ellis, who has come to many commissioners' meetings, for not calling a commissioner a liar, backstabber, and bully. He has been very ethical and polite in all of our meetings. Thank you for all of your support and vote in the past years. I look forward to serving you again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Roger Field. I'm 43 years old. My parents moved over here when we were in 88, 89. I'm against career politicians. I want it to be a 2-term limit, and you're out of politics or you move on to the next stage in life, whatever position you'd like to go. That's my main concern is 2 years, 2 terms, and you are done in the position you're at. I appreciate your vote.
Next, Brenda Farnworth, running for county.
Thank you. I'm Brenda Farnworth, running again for my second term as Lincoln County Clerk. I know they said I could just do that and sit down, but I thought it was important that you know what you voted in the last time you voted for me. We've done a lot of work in improving some processes at the county. You know, the county clerk has a lot of hats. The county clerk is over the courts, over the recording, over the auditing, which is the payroll and the bills paying, over elections, over the indigent, also the clerk of the board, and budget officer. So the clerk wears a lot of hats. But I've worked diligently the last 3.5 years to try to improve processes wherever I can to make things more efficient and run more smoothly. There's always bumps, don't always do things the way things don't always go exactly like you want them. But some of the things that we've improved the budgeting process, I've set up spreadsheets that now go out to all the departments so they can enter their stuff in a spreadsheet rather than on a computer piece of paper that doesn't total up and they know what their total budget is when they send it back to me. We also set up a salary step grade so that we know where we're going each year with salaries and what to expect when we come to budgeting. It also makes the increases very fair across all of the departments because they're all into a like department and they're stepped at the same rate. And I think I might have come up with a solution to our sheriff's problem. I've been working on that one, and how we can increase the starting wages of the sheriff's department so that we can keep and retain good sheriff's deputies. I think I've come up with a solution. We've been working on employee raises ever since I've been in there. We proposed increases, and as the board working together, we've been able to give increases every year, significant some at some times, and to get things more fair and balanced. We put in a new court software system this past year. It was quite a challenge in a lot of the counties, and mostly because of the software system itself. But I have to hand it to all my court deputies. They worked diligently, they were well trained, and when they turned on the new software, they knew what they were doing, and the errors were very minimal. It was just the software. There's lots more improvements that need to be done. Currently, we're working on a time clock system to try to make our payroll more efficient. Right now, they record it on paper worksheets, and we need a good, efficient time clock system. Some of the other things we need to do are, we implemented a new phone system into the county. We went from an analog line to a T1, and we saved the county $12,000 a year in phone costs. I asked for your vote. I know there's nobody running against me, but I want a vote of confidence. And my name is Brenda Farnworth, and I'm happy to be your Lincoln County Clerk.
Ann Hughes, Lincoln County Treasurer.
Hi, my name is Ann Hughes, and to introduce myself, I was thinking I know a lot of you, and some of you I do, and some of you don't, so I'm going to start at the beginning. I have lived in Richville for 14 years, taught school there. The last 6 years I've been the Lincoln County Treasurer. I was sworn into office in 2012, in May of 2012. And I came to this position with a master's degree in business administration and 6 years of experience in business accounting. I was pleased to be able to use the skills I had to help the Treasurer's office run more efficiently. And I'm pleased to serve the people of Lincoln County. As treasurer, I think my most significant responsibility is to safeguard the resources of the county, and I take that seriously. As I balance accounts and make investments, I'm always concerned about procedures and policies that will safeguard not just the money that the county has, but the employees that work with the money. It's very serious to me. As the tax collector, which is not a favorite job for some of you, it's not always, anyway. As a tax collector, I'm diligent in receiving their tax dollars. I make serious efforts to ensure that the funds go out to the taxing districts in a timely manner. You can't hear me. So I wasted the whole thing? Oh yeah, he did. So, in short, in my office, friendly service, fiscal transparency, efficiency are all important. And I hope that you all feel like you come and talk to me if you have concerns. And I can't promise you that I will fix them for you. But I will treat you with respect, and I will listen, and I will make suggestions when I can. I appreciate so much the confidence that you have given me, or you have in my office, in my work. I'm honored to serve you. Again, my name is Ann Hughes, and I'm the Lincoln County Treasurer. Thank you.
Next up, Lincoln County Coroner, Mike Piper.
Hi. Hello, my name is Mike Piper. I was born and raised in Lincoln County, Ridgeville, of course. I've never lived anywhere else. Most of you know me as the grocery guy, or the guy from Piper's, or the guy that cuts your meat up in the fall. As the reason was sold my store, I have the time and the focus to not only be your coroner, but to do the job right, hopefully. With 35 years of experience as an EMT with Richfield QRU, I feel I have still the skills to be your county coroner. I will also attend continuing education and coroner school as soon as possible. I want to treat your loved ones and your family with the respect and compassion that they deserve in a very difficult time. I also promise you that I will always go the extra mile to identify any suspicious deaths or activity. That's basically what the coroner does. I would like to thank Dr. Davis for his years of service as our county coroner, and also Presley McConnell and Lauren Sant for being the deputy coroners. Everywhere in the county, all 3 cities can vote for coroner, and I'd appreciate your support on May 15th. Please fill in the bubble and write Mike Piper for coroner. Thank you.
All right, so now we will do some questions. I think I'll sit up here. And we will ask some questions to our candidates. And you can take the seat. So we will do this at random, and we will give all the candidates, commissioners, candidates, time to 1 minute to answer our questions from the public. And we will just go down the line, and then we'll go down that line. So we will start with you, Dawn. You want to stand up? And this is from one of our, someone who came in and asked, please explain the best 3 things that have happened to you today.
The 3 best things that happened to me today. I got to wake up and see my beautiful wife this morning. That's the first best thing. The second thing is I went outside and enjoyed the sunshine. The third best thing is I got to come here and talk with my neighbors, the people that I work with, the people that I live with, the people that I'm allowed to serve, and to hear your concerns and to be honored to be considered to serve you. And I hope that continues.
Same question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can all say question. Well, one of the best things that happened to me this morning, I usually work at the sale yards 3 days a week. We do have some active animals in there. And before I went to work this morning, Christine and I said a prayer, and it was a good thing I did. The second thing is just doing what I'm doing now. Talking with people, visiting with people, listening to their concerns, telling them how I feel, respecting each other, opinions. You might get an eye roll once in a while, but that's human nature. The third thing, least but not last, is my wife. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I had 3 good things today. Best was being able to spend about 4 hours helping my wife in the yard. The second best was being here. A lot of nice people. I hope my voice calmed down a little bit by now. I'm very nervous. I don't know if you can tell that. And really thankful for the beautiful weather. Thank you.
Number one was having my family, most of my 7 children and 30 grandchildren that could talk, wish me good luck tonight. Number two was having my meeting with the BLM today, where they confirmed that we are saving the county $45,000 to $50,000. And thirdly, I'm looking forward to some pie. I haven't had any yet.
Roger? 3 positive things today.
I'm thankful for the great weather. We got outside, it's sunny. It almost feels like springtime. That's always a plus in my eyes. Second thing I'm thankful for is my family. I've got 4 great kids total. 2 boys with me right now and 2 girls that are not with me. They are with their mothers. The third thing is thankful to be here, and I want to hear what your concerns are on how the county commissioner can serve you better.
Okay, while you're up there, Roger, next question from the public. While you're there. How much has the population of Lincoln County changed in the last 10 years? Why is a huge pay increase justified? And do you support this increase?
No, I do not support this increase in the county commissioner pay raise. I do not believe the county has grown in population to justify almost any pay raise besides the normal, whatever it is the county should get, which would be 25 cents like their fellow constituents have got.
Okay, thank you. You done? No, you're done. Next one. Donna?
First, I don't believe the population of Lincoln County has changed very much in the past 10 years at all. In fact, I asked Rob Wade, the superintendent of the schools, if he would characterize for me the student population during the past 10 years and extend that to 10 years from now. And he said flat, no change. And I think the same thing reflects in the general population. No, I do not think the increase in pay for the commissioners was appropriate in any way. It was exorbitant. It is a ridiculous amount to ask the taxpayers to pay. If I'm elected, I'll do everything I can to reverse that tax increase and get the commissioner pay levels in line with other counties that are in the same size and population range as we are. If for some reason I were elected and the other 2 commissioners would not or would outvote me in that, I will take part of my salary and donate that to a worthy cause. Exorbitant.
Would you repeat the question,
Yes.
please?
How much has the population of Lincoln County changed in the last 10 years? And why is a huge pay increase justified? And do you support this increase?
All right, first off about the population. I live 5 miles north of town. There's a subdivision, 1, 2, 3, 4 subdivisions in my area. Most of these kids, I guess most of these people who live there weren't born 45 years ago. So they needed a place to live. So I'm not saying the population has grown or it's diversified more. I've seen people I went to school with, who are my teachers, who are my kids' teachers. I've seen neighbors come and go. So as far as the population growth, it all depends where you're at. Shoshone's city limit sign is maintained 1,300 more or less. And according to the new commissioner districts maps, we're holding about stick. Like I said, it's more diversification of the population than it is the growth. And as far as the wage increase, yeah, you know how I feel about that in my proposals. Thank you.
first came here, the population size, I believe we're at 1,204 for Shoshone, and now it's 1,380, I think. The population hasn't grown, it's just rotated around. And the people that I grew up with and knew as elderly people then are no longer here, of course, but it's filling in with bedroom people that need just a place to live that work up north and spend all their money up north. So I don't think the population has grown any other than 1 or 2%. The pay increase deal, I've been to several of the meetings. All the commissioners all work 40 to 50 hours a week, plus their own time on their own separate committees that they are assigned. So I don't know if the pay increase is justified or not. But I would have to see what the work is to be done to make that decision.
I've lived here since 1943, and the population has increased some. We have 5,300 people in Lincoln County now. I would recommend that those that feel they should back off on the salary live through it for a year. We've had auditors every year ask us, why do you commissioners work for less than minimum wage? And the salary increase, the budget that Brenda Farnworth has made out, I support that 100%. I feel that my salary is less than $15 an hour, which is less than some people starting in the county. And if you want to do a good job and you want to have a salary for less than $15 an hour, why, you can flip hamburgers for $15 an hour.
Okay, Ms. Roy, do you mind staying there for the next questions? Since
I
you have
don't mind at all.
Thank you.
I'm going to come over here so I can hear you.
Okay, do you think we need a new courthouse, and how do you think we should finance it?
Yes, I think we need a new courthouse. And the way to finance that, we have been working on this for quite some time. We have a capital improvement budget in the county for over $1 million. I have gone through the county courthouse in Bear Lake County, and they missed having a bond election one time by 4 votes. This time they are going to take executive action, and I think they will get a new courthouse because the judge is going to order it. We'll just have to see. As far as financing it, with what savings we have already and with a small bond election, I think we can get a courthouse that will support all of the employees. We have about 8,000 or 9,000 square feet, maybe 12 or 13. We need 2,200 square feet. Thank you.
Do you think we need a new courthouse, and how do you think we should finance it?
Well, we either need a new courthouse or spend many millions on bringing this existing building up to ADA standards, which in a historical building, it's almost impossible to put an elevator. You have to put it on the outside of the building. It's going to cost a lot of money. You've got to put in ramps. The best way to do that, fix this problem, is a new courthouse. I looked at the plans. They're not finalized yet. They look like it ought to work and make everybody happy as far as having to work in the building, make the handicapped people happy to be able to get around. as far as paying for it, the only way I can see is to pass a bond, float a bond, whatever they call it. I'm new to politics, I don't know how it all works, but the county doesn't have enough money to build it outright. So, good for Shoshone.
I'm not going to answer that question right now because there's other options. I don't know the costs or what it's going to take, how you voters really feel about this. I feel that if you've seen my signs outside, 5 sheets of plywood, a gallon of paint, and some red paint. I feel I was raised that you look at home first and utilize what you have, and then proceed from there. There are buildings downtown, everybody wants to stay the integrity of Shoshone. If the bond doesn't fly, there are buildings downtown that could be used, as I said on my proposal. Like I said, the cost, we can't even get a school bond passed, let alone a bond to build a new courthouse. And I feel like our children's education, like I said, with my 4th generation going to this school district, needs to be put first. Thank you.
Do I want a new courthouse? Well, yes, I do, but I want a lot of other things too. I think the question is too complicated to answer yes or no. I think Larry's on the right track. There are a lot of options that need to be discussed. It's a big job. 3 people can't do it. That's why my approach is to get you involved. My approach is to, number 1, inform the public. Number 2, listen to the public. And number 3, lead the public into a solution. Talking together, we can come up with a solution. Now, what I haven't heard anybody say is, how does it fit into the comp plan? Do you know what the comp plan is? That's a comprehensive plan that's supposed to guide the development of the county. And whatever is done is supposed to fit into that comprehensive plan. I know that 37 pages of changes were made to the planning and zoning ordinances. Nobody even knows what they are or how they affect the comprehensive plan. We need a new comp plan.
Robert, do you think we need a new courthouse, and how do you think we should finance it?
I just think we need to update our existing courthouse, make it feasible for everyone that can get to it, whether it be a ramp, whether it be a elevator. I don't see how the county can afford a new courthouse.
While you're there, the next question. Are you willing to reinstate the P&Z board and go back to evening meetings?
Yes, the P&Z board should be reinstated, and the meetings for the commissioners should be at evenings. That way all of their people that voted for them can be there and attend them also. You can hear what their voices and opinions are.
The Planning and Zoning Board is an important part of local government because it reflects the will of the people, and it needs to be reinstated. The same 3 people cannot manage all of county government and do all of the planning and zoning decisions without some appeal authority. Right now, there's no appeal authority. It's too much on too few people. There needs to be a planning and zoning board, and it needs to be staffed by members of the county, citizens in the county. Evening meetings are fine. Most of us have to work during the day, and evenings are the only time we have to do that. There's always going to be conflicts, and there's always going to be sacrifice. We just have to learn how to work with it. Short answer is yes, we need to reinstate the planning and zoning board.
Yes, I think we do need our planning and zoning board back again. I said where I've worked, I never did participate much. But the reason I heard that they did disband is now they have a full committee because people weren't showing up in the evenings. And I asked what happened if there is a discretion and the commissioners don't like what you propose. And my answer was, you can sue the county. Now, does anybody want another frivolous lawsuit against the county? I don't think so, in my opinion. I don't know about yourself. But I do think it needs to be reinstated, but like Don said, we need more public involvement so we can keep a full committee so this doesn't happen again.
Well, I agree, we do need a planning and zoning board. The evening meetings, I've been to several of the Republican meetings that they've held right in this room, and the audience is 4 people, plus the board. I don't know how daytime or evening meetings are going to make any difference on who shows up in the audience. Thank you.
We certainly need something besides what we've had, because it's taken 90 to 100 days to get an approval through planning and zoning, because it is a time-consuming thing. And since we have taken it over, we are able to approve these things on a monthly basis, and I think we ought to give it a try. And if it isn't successful after a year or so, we can always go back. But it's working just fine now, and I think we ought to give it some time. The people of Lincoln County deserve better than waiting 90 to 100 days to get approval through planning and zoning.
Okay, Roy, do you mind staying there?
Was I the last one already again?
You were. This question is for you, and then we'll do,
You mean they all don't answer? Just for me?
just for you. Special,
How special am I?
pretty special. It says, and from a concerned citizen, I guess, it says, are there any lawsuits against Lincoln County or the commissioners at this time that should concern the newly elected?
Yes, there is a lawsuit against the Lincoln County Commissioners and the prosecuting attorney at the present time. Don Hudson has a lawsuit against us. I feel that it's something that's been turned over to the attorneys. If his side wins, fine. If our side wins, fine. But I feel that it's something, think of the word hostile environment if we have to work with somebody that has a lawsuit against us. Yes, there is a lawsuit against us.
Okay, now we're going to go general questions. One more, please, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay. Commissioners often have very different opinions and even argue over major decisions. Can you let it go the next day and get over it?
Great question. We have difference of opinions many times. We have split decision votes on the county commissioners. And we have had our state people that have come to our meetings and said, well, good for you. Any county commission that does not have a split decision once in a while isn't doing their job. And so I feel yes, and we can get over it. I looked Commissioner Wood and Commissioner Cressley in the eye, and I said, be reasonable, do it my way. And they say, be reasonable, do it my way. After the vote is over, we go on. it becomes ancient history, our differences.
Commissioners often have very different opinions and even argue over major decisions. Can you get over it the next day?
As a rule, if I'm outvoted on something, especially by my wife, I have to get over it.
I'll agree with Don on that. It's usually a one-on-one vote, you know, when you tie a vote, it's moot. For goodness sakes, people, it's Lincoln County. I've lived here. The problems we seem to cause, we cause ourselves. With a few eye rolls and a shrug, sure, we can get over it. But if we get over it, I still want to listen to you on why I voted one way or the other, so I can always take it back for the next bout. Thank you.
One of the things that makes America great is the rule of law. And the rule of law is what makes Lincoln County a great place to live. Disagreements are commonplace. Debate is a good thing. Debate is the way you solve issues, not arguments. We are supposed to conduct public meetings by Robert's Rules of Order. If we do that, we will be able to discuss issues in a civil manner and find solutions in a civil manner. Debate is good. Arguments are not.
Yes, the county commissioners should disagree and move on with their life and move on to the next discussion of what is up for discussion after that discussion, whether you win or lose. There are laws for everything that's discussed. You being a commissioner, you can look at the laws and figure it out and vote for what is right in the laws.
All right, well, you're up there. Our last question. What does the commissioner have to do with a school bond? What's that?
Yeah, that is a good question. I have no idea. I guess you just have to vote on the school bond is what I would assume. It's not up to the commissioner, from what I'm gathering it.
The answer is nothing, because those are two completely separate districts. They're two completely separate divisions of responsibility. The school board is responsible for the school board budget, the school board plans. The county commissioner has a completely different set of responsibilities. Do the two affect one another in some way? Yes, they do, because when you get your tax bill, you're going to get a tax bill for the school bond and for the courthouse bond. So you're going to end up paying the bill no matter who affects the bond. But the short answer is it's a different set of law for the school board and a different set of law for the commissioners.
I've heard the conversation of, let's build a new school and give the county the old school, which, all right, that's fine, but first off, it's overkill. Then you still gotta pay for the school, and then the Shoshone School District would be paying for the new school, with the rest of the county wouldn't have anything to do with it. So I agree with the other gentleman, it's two separate issues. Like everything else in this county, you have the school district, you have the commissioners, you have the fire districts, you have road districts, their own little entity that should be kept separate. Personal involvement is fine, I voted for school bonds because I figured somebody voted for me to get my kids in, somebody voted for, for me and my kids, so school bonds are important. But they're two separate issues on this, on this. Okay.
I believe the county commissioner's responsibility on this issue is to go out and vote.
We as present county commissioners have held off on talking about a new courthouse because we wanted the school to have first crack. And being that's failed, I think if you ask our clerk how many times she is bombarded with questions, when are you going to be ADA accessible? Why, I think we can't hold off any longer. We have to be ADA accessible, and we have had a person from Vermont, I believe it was, make an assessment of our building. I asked him to come out here when he was in the area, and he made a lengthy assessment, and he says, you need to be ADA accessible. They took pictures, they did everything. We have a full report, and I didn't want to mention this because he said this is going to the Supreme Court of Idaho, and he said it's confidential, but you can tell them what it was about.
Do we have time for closing statements? Okay. All right, so we have time, so time permitting, each candidate has 2 minutes for closing remarks. Would you like to start off?
My name's Roger Fields. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to be your county commissioner. Plain and simple, Roger Fields, vote for it.
Lincoln County is a small county, but we've got a lot of big issues that we have to face, and we have to face them very soon. And it's going to take a lot of work. A lot of things have been put off for a long time. And it's going to take working together. Now, it should be abundantly clear to everyone, 3 people can't do it by themselves, no matter how hard they try. We're going to have to get the public involved, and we're going to have to work together. And we're going to have to pay some taxes sooner or later. But there are things that we need to preserve. We need to preserve our customs and our traditions. One of the most valuable things in Lincoln County is that old courthouse. We've got to save it. Whether we use it or not, we have to save it. We have to decide that. You have to decide that. If you vote for me, I will do everything I can to make sure that the public's will is done. Not my will, somebody else's will. And it should be obvious to you by now that we should let individual departments do their individual jobs. It's not a good thing to withhold information from the public for any reason, but in order to influence an election that borders on illegal behavior. And we have to have a more open and transparent government so that you know what's going on, so that you know how your money is going to be spent, and so that you have a voice in what your children's future is going to look like. I want to help you do that. Vote for Don Hudson on May 15th, and I'll do that. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight and being involved and listening to what has been said between the 5 candidates. You've heard my proposals. You know how I feel about this courthouse. It should be there, but if it doesn't pass, we have other options we can look into. I think the biggest concern now is maybe replacing the vacant seat of Cressley for the next 7 or 8 months, which will be performed by the Republican Central Committee. But like I said, I've lived here in Lincoln County. I don't want to go anyplace else, especially when I watch the news this morning with the tornadoes in Oklahoma where my daughter's at, in Kansas. No, we might get a few snowstorms and a little bit of wind, but where else do you guys really want to go? I've seen a lot of faces that's been here for a long time, and I've seen new faces, and I hope you stay. All I can say is just vote for whoever your heart goes, and thank you for your time.
I'm not quite sure how my opponent can negate everything that's done in the commission. If he's in there, he's a dissenting vote for everything that's brought up. It just won't work. Thank you, Rick Ellis.
I appreciate everybody being here, and I'm asking for your vote. I have a whole list here of things that we have accomplished. Can you hear me now? Thank you. And I think what the county commissioners, the present county commissioners, one of the big things they've accomplished is our tax base, our tax rate, I should say, has gone from 0.38 down to 0.35. And I'm sorry, Camas County, I just happened to write yours down here. You are at 0.58. Butte County is 0.66, just about double the taxes we are. We have brought our taxes down, and we have increased the things that needed to be increased. And so I hope that you can vote for me so that we can continue this trend for at least the next few years. I'm asking for your vote. And if you want to know about my family and that, I've got some handouts over there. I didn't want to bore you with all of that tonight.
Mike, do you want?
I'm good.
Don, you wanted to rebuttal?
Yes. This is the rebuttal. With all due respect to my opponent, he doesn't know what I stand for and what I don't stand for. If you want to know what I stand for, ask me. Don't ask my opponent, because I know. And I was attending commissioner meetings 6 years before he even ever thought about going to one. So I ask you to consider my record. My record shows proven leadership. And that's the leadership that I will bring to the office for you. I will work for you. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you for your time this evening. We do have pies for sale and or to auction off, one or the other, don't know yet. And thank you again, and hopefully you will vote